Do they take advantage of the Raiders and lock up their final win of the season, or is maybe 10 points, 9.5 too much to lay with them?
I'm gonna go ahead and piss Jared off from the start because I'm gonna lead this off with fantasy football because a lot of people were
Let's do it.
contemplating what they were going
I
to
love it.
do with Davante Adams in their fantasy rosters because he wasn't going to have Derek Carr. He had Jared Stidham at quarterback, and Stidham only threw for 365 pass yards, 3 tubs. He had 2 interceptions, but they had 7 for 153 and 2 tubs against that San Francisco 49ers defense. Now, we know the way that you attack the 49ers is through the air that way, but the fact that Jared Stidham could get that done against the Niners, I mean, we need to say, if he could do that against the Niners, what can he do against the Kansas City Chiefs? Because the Chiefs haven't looked that hot on defense as of late. We've seen Russell Wilson actually cook about 2 times in a row against that Kansas City Chiefs defense. There have been other offenses that have been struggling that have actually had some success against the Kansas City Chiefs defense. And we know what Patrick Mahomes can do. He's been deploying an array of weapons, whether you're talking about Kadarius Toney, you get Scott Moore involved, Pacheco and McCann have been balling out. You still have Juju and MVS and all these other guys. Oh, and he has the best tight end in the league, Travis Kelce. So that offense is going to be okay. The Raiders look like they can still be competent on the field offensively without Derek Carr. So I'm looking for some points to be scored in this one. We've always felt, well, at least I have over the past, these spreads have been a little bit too high for Kansas City. Like teams tend to play them close, and that hasn't changed over the past few weeks. So that 9.5, that looks like it's too big of a number for me. But I think more than anything else, I feel more comfortable playing the over because I feel like, hey, Jared Stidham could put some points up on Kansas City, and we already know what Patty Mahomes can do with the chance at possibly getting that number 1 seed in the AFC. Hey, let's light up that scoreboard. Give me the over.
Well, the fact that the Chiefs are 5-10-1 against the spread, one of the worst teams in the NFL ATS this season, that says something with a lot of these double-digit or really high points that the Kansas City Chiefs are laying. The Raiders, though, they don't really have anything to play for at this point. They're going to miss the playoffs for the 18th time since 2003. But I do look at it, Jared, because Kansas City only beat Las Vegas by 1 point back in Week 5. Kansas City is the better team. Realistically, they shouldn't lose. But I think the over is a really good bet in this game, too. Like, you look at the Chiefs, they're the highest scoring team in the NFL, 29.1 points per game. And the over is hitting 6 of their last 8. Would you look at the total? Because maybe this point spread is a little bit too much to lay.
Yeah, I was just doing a quick database here for Chiefs laying 7 or more this year. They're 2-6 against the spread. I mean, and again, they've been bad against the spread all year, so it shouldn't surprise you. But and I'm guessing if I widen that sample size to the last couple of years, since this Mahomes tax is being levied on us, the gamblers, I'm guessing that we would see similar numbers. There's a couple things. I'm glad we started with this game because this is one of the 2 games I wrote up for the site this week. My picks were Raiders and the over. So aligned there for sure. Let's start a little bit with the point spread because I think if you just do some simple line analysis, you can find some value with Vegas. They were a 7.5 point underdog in Kansas City back in Week 5. So if you give the Chiefs, which I would say the Chiefs have probably one of the best home field advantages in the NFL, let's just for the sake of argument give them the full 3. That would make it a 4.5 point spread on a neutral. And if you give Vegas, let's say 1.5 points for their home field, it's not great. Then you make Vegas a 3 point underdog in that game back in Week 5. If you just take all of the same market variables and you fast forward them to today, well, it's 9.5. So that's telling me that the Derek Carr, Jarrett Stidham difference is a full touchdown? No. First of all, Jarrett Stidham, that is, no. That's more like Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love type of move right there. That is not a fair move. Now, you could argue that, the Chiefs defense may be playing a little better. Maybe the Raiders defense playing a little bit worse. Obviously, motivation is a factor. But I think the Raiders are going to be motivated for this game. First of all, it's a home divisional game against the best team in the NFL, a team that they have played very, very tight games against over the last few seasons. The game in Week 5 was an instant classic. The Raiders scored in the final minutes, went for 2, didn't get it, and the Chiefs ended up running out the clock, winning by a single point. So I think 9.5, while I'm not thrilled to take 9.5 and, I'll be scared most of the game against Mahomes, clearly there's value there. The over, I don't understand it. This series, 5-0 to the over in the last 5 meetings with an average combined score of 60.9 points. And in 3 of those 5 games, the closing total was higher than 53. So at 52.5, this is a go zone for me on the over. Stidham's numbers were fantastic against the Niners last week. He had the 4th highest EPA of any quarterback on the opening drive of the game against San Francisco all season long. And what that tells me is he's been with Josh McDaniels before, 2 years in New England. Now he comes over to Vegas, understands the system, understands what he's trying to do, and runs the offense pretty well. The ADOT was one of the highest of the week, so clearly they're pushing the ball down the field, and clearly Davante Adams is bought in. You heard the postgame comments. You saw how well he played. So I think there's a lot of positives with this Vegas team. I'm not saying they're going to win the game, but 9.5 and 52.5 seem like very fair prices for a dog over combination in this game.